Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Creative Society TV. So today's episode is very special because it's the first one after historical conference, Creative Society USA. It was the first time we did something of this scale locally, specifically for Americans, because I feel like America is a very special country. It's been always the most progressive state, and people were always pushing it forward when it comes to freedoms, when it comes to prosperity. And maybe the next leap of our humanity will be made here by Americans. This is no-brainer to me, and it's a great honor to have today with me RoyStar as a co-host. And Roy, you've been on the conference as well, just hosting and just killing it over there. So it was awesome. Nice to have you here with me. And also, by popular demand, here with us, Jarrell. Awesome have you with us, brother. I know you was trying to make it to the conference as well, but of course you have a kid, you have football games. By the way, congratulations on making it to the playoffs now. And today with you, we would like to watch some more videos, because the previous episode we made with you, it made a lot of feedback, very cool feedback, and people love you. People wanted to see you more. So here you are.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. I love everyone who watched.
Yeah, it went on TikToks and so many platforms all over. And I know you're into economy. You're very passionate about stock markets, about what's going on. And I know you've been talking about this. And why don't we kick it off with our first video about the economy? Yeah.
Sounds good.
So, yeah.
The facts that we just heard are quite disturbing. Can we see that first graph? Income inequality is devastating. Middle class is shrinking faster than ever before. Society is polarized, and you can see how the wealth of the general population has been decreasing for decades. But look at the way it plunged since 2020. If that's not the beginning of a crisis, then I don't know what is.
$5, let's say gas, or your groceries, you used to spend $200 a month, now you're spending $700 a month. It's not sustainable.
When it comes to the cost of rent, home buyers, it's getting tougher and tougher to be a home buyer. You got all these corporations coming in, buying residential homes, making it tough for the regular mom and pop people trying to become a homeowner. So that's making it tough for the American dream to become true.
If the prices raise the way they are, where are people going to live?
Well, I think a lot needs to change economically with respect to class and the redistribution of wealth, our tax system, the way our government operates.
Well, I would say just time freedom, financial freedom, because everything that is revolved around money. And I feel like if we just have more freedom in that sense, then we could live a lot happier life and also lead the new generation to generational wealth.
When you don't have the financial freedom, you are giving up on many things that you might be able to do otherwise.
Economy. No inflation. The first thing that will happen in the Creative Society is writing off all debts and loans from private individuals, abolition of real estate taxes and personal property taxes. There will be no loan interest rates. We will start with a clean slate. All of this will be possible due to a new format of economy that will be designed to benefit the interest of every American. It takes the financial burden off of every family.
Once you learn about the Creative Society, visit the website creativesociety.com and click the Join Us button. The faster the majority of the population is informed, the sooner we can form a public request or an electoral demand. Only then we can get to the next stage of implementing the Creative Society at the legislative level.
Hey, so we just saw this video. It's a short clip of different parts of the conference. You've seen, first of all, the graph of general wealth of Americans. And you know what's funny? The salaries have been rising, but the actual wealth, what people can afford, it's been decreasing. That's quite shocking. That purple line you see over there, that's the amount of wealth that belongs to the middle class, and it's been shrinking since like 1989, like constantly. So this is something I was like, wow, it didn't happen yesterday. It didn't just start yesterday. It's something's wrong with the system itself. If it makes our people poor instead of like generating more wealth. And then the second thing, we went to the streets and we were asking people, what do you think of it? And like most of the people were concerned about the economy. That's the main topic, I think, in today's America. What do you think?
Right. I totally agree. The thing is though, the sad part about it all is that we are all now just starting to figure this out. This thing has been going on, like you said, even before the mid 80s. Thing is at that time, a lot of people weren't aware and then I hate to say it, but a lot of people didn't care. And even now, even though there's a lot more people aware, there still is a lot of people who don't care. And all this does is just repeats the cycle, just on a bigger level, because there's more people coming into our economy now. And the thing is if history is not shared from the past as it goes forward, no one knows that this is a thing. And a lot of it is we're blindsided, by other issues that don't really matter. But I totally agree with that. I mean, I think there should be a change, but the way you start change is by education and teaching the future generations, about what happened in the past. That's why history is so important. But for some reason, I guess we're afraid to talk about history.
RoyStar, what do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely something that's kind of come to the head. Major economists could probably tell you better than I, but we all know that for a while they played so many games with the economy, like just to, get an instant gratification type of model, where they would raise a rate here or lower rate there to get some type of instant gratification from the economy. And I feel like now it's at a point where all of it's coming to a head. It's we're paying for those times where we manipulated these numbers, and it's all coalescing, as we can see.
Yeah, so I know you're both into economy. RoyStar is more into real estate market. Jarrell is more into stock. What's been going on there for like past years? Can you explain it or break it down for somebody who's like doesn't know that much about stock or real estate? What has been happening? Why did it spike all of a sudden, then drop like it did recently?
Well, you know what? As long as I've been in the stock market, and it hasn't been, I wouldn't say 10 years, but I've been in the stock market for some time. It's a game. And literally, I don't really know that much about housing market besides, what some of my friends tell me and what I see, but they correlate. And then furthermore, though, so far as the stock market is concerned, it literally just does the same thing over and over again. Like it's literally the same thing. And technically, the way that I view the world is all based on the stock market. And this is meaning not just in money. This is in how people act. This is in behavior patterns. This is in everything. I forgot who's this author, but one of my favorite books is The Psychology of Money. And what it does is it focuses more on the behavior behind the money. And to me, stock market is money. So if you can understand the mindset of people that are playing in the stock market, you can technically understand the mindset of people who live in this world. And I feel like everything is a circle. The way that you win is by finding your place in this circle. Because if you can find out how you can be in the up and up of the cycle before it does it again, you'll be ahead of it when it does it again, because it's going to keep doing it. And that's unfortunate, but that's the way our society was even brought up in the beginning. This is even back from Christopher Columbus. And we know he wasn't the first, but just in general speaking, this has been going on. So literally it's just a cycle. That's all I see in the stock market. So when it goes down, it's like, it's supposed to go down, and then it's going to go up, and then it's going to go down again. It's just the cycle. This is how it happens.
RoyStar, what do you think? Is there a different way out to actually change the system to benefit most of the people, or is it just gonna be this gamble and whoever sold on time and whoever invested on time are gonna win? Because it seems like general population, the wealth has been decreased. That's the weird part about this graph we just saw. That it seems like there are cycles, but again we see the trend that the trend is like constant decline of this general population wealth. Like, is it the system designed this well to benefit a few on the expense of majority? Because that would be strange. But also, what would be the solution? Would people like speak up before it crashes again and just like suggest some alternatives?
I think if the economy was to come to another crash, it would be similar to the one we saw in 2008 or 2000, the last major one that like spiked the recession, where you see that those few who are the wealthy, they benefit off of this economic decline, and those who are not in that 1%, we all have to feel the wrath of what's to come. But I do think, to answer your first question, I think the best solution to everything is the creative society, which is basically a redistribution of the funds and the wealth that we already have in circulation. And we give these funds and wealth to the people in all sectors, from housing to the medical sector to education sector. So to me, the best way out is the creative society model.
Well, thank you so much. Well, the next video, which I believe is going to be on education and maybe share some info from conference. What was new to you?
I would like to live in a society where educators are paid more money, police protection, policemen are paid more money, that you will put education and safety first.
There's nothing more vital than we can do than public education and having a good education system for everyone, regardless of whatever their own family financial situations are, including access, of course, into higher education, where you don't have to go in debt for the rest of your life.
In the Creative Society, education at any level will be free and available to absolutely every person. Thanks to a new approach to education and advanced technology, you will be able to study and learn new skills anytime and anywhere, as well as easily change careers. Education will no longer be a chore. The process will be engaging and exciting. For example, with the help of VR glasses, you will study the human body from inside, traveling among molecules. In the Creative Society, you will be able to study at any university in the world and learn any profession you want.
I did not have those when I was a kid, the VR glasses. That's a major game changer.
But you have those now as an adult. So yes, I agree.
Yeah. So you can just put them on and appear in any university at the best lectures with the best professors. Like, that's such a big game changer.
Right. I agree.
How do you envision it? Does it make it more affordable or more?
Yeah, the video before you said that video, I was going to say that it's really cool how we're in sync on that level, because yes, I am a firm advocate of stretching out and making an equal playing field amongst all. I think to reset it in the sense where give everyone a chance to grow from the ground level. That's a great idea, and I will love that. But it all starts with education, because you can give someone $5 million, and if they don't have the education of what $5 million is or know the value of $5 million, it just becomes crap. So I think education should be first. Free education would be great because we know America's a business, right? I feel like the number one way that America has been functioning as a business is based off of debt and loans. And a lot of the major debt comes from student loans. I like to tell people I'm debt free, but inadvertently, I still do have school loans that needs to be paid off. And I am working towards paying that. However, I do realize that that's what America is like they have, like when another country can come and buy our debt and literally take over. That's a way that you take over our country. So I feel like us printing more money and sending out more money and having more debt is just making us, our business fall. And the way that, you know, we make our business better is by educating the employees. So the only other way, and we know a lot of people can't afford a good education. So yeah, free education would be beautiful. I would love that. I think that is where, I think that's the ground level. However, I'm not a huge fan of VR just yet. I like the concept of VR. I like the fact that it's virtual from home and you don't have to like figure out money to get to school, because that was an issue back when I was in school too, is how am I going to get to school? If there was a way that we can bridge that, because I feel like a lot of people, especially in this day and age, are so lazy that the VR thing might not be used as we would like it to be used. Like with me in my journey, the way that I found out my higher calling is I had to get out and start becoming a fitness person. I had to enrich my mind first. And I think on that level, like being able to get out and leave is great. Now, if we found a way to incorporate the VR as well as saying, hey, all right, this is downtime from the VR, get out and go out the house, or let's find a way where we can connect VR and outside, because a lot of people, and then, you know, human interaction is very important in life. If we're stuck inside of our house and all we do is interact virtually, we really can't enrich our minds either. That's a whole nother concept. Even with my son is homeschooled, but the reason why he does football is because I know that, yeah, homeschool is awesome because I can see what I'm putting in his mind personally. However, he still does not need that interaction, because if a person goes out into the world and not know how to talk to someone that doesn't look like them, that can become an issue in itself as well. So I think the VR, sorry to go too crazy on tangents, but I think the VR,
super cool.
I think the VR thing is an awesome idea, but I would like to find a way that we can have some kind of social interaction aside with that as well, or where we can get out the house and not just sit at home and eat chips and cookies and just put on VR glasses and just become more lazier as a society as well.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Like VR is definitely a good tool that can be implemented, but as he's saying, that we have to do it the right way. You know, we have to do it in a way that makes sense and that's equitable to the children. But I think it'd be an awesome tool to incorporate. You know?
That's a very good point, actually. The technology is not the problem, it's the way we use it. And the way you said, it has to like have some sort of purpose, which it's supposed to be used for, but not abused to control, like to trap people in this VR reality. And what we see right now, it's working purposely to make it more addictive, to stay more on social media, to stay more in VR glasses, because the more time you spend there, the more attention you invest into it, the more profit you generate for those who trying to like place commercials in there. But if the whole point of the system is not to push you another commercial to make some bucks on you, but to actually educate you as a person and make you like able to enrich the society, that changes everything, the whole paradigm shift. Because as you said, just like person who has $5 million, well, we've seen those with the winners of lotteries. They win $20 million and they ended up so many times homeless in the streets and sometimes even with more mental issues than before. So money is not solving the problem. Education is the answer. You're absolutely like, yeah, we're in sync on this one, and that's great. That's nice to see, because it should be a no-brainer. It should be general knowledge, and super cool. Yeah, especially for people who have kids. Like, what do you want your kids to live like, and what do you want not only your kids but the neighbors of your kids? You're gonna have a kid, and you want the neighbor of your child to be educated as well, and to live successfully, have a career, contribute to the very same society that my kids live in. Because that's the way it becomes safe and normal and, like, you know, thrive in society. And to me, it's no brainer. And yeah, sounds cool.
Actually, I think it's a great way to stop hate. A lot of hate, people not realizing, a lot of hate comes from the lack of knowledge and understanding. Like, how can I hate someone that I know is going through the same thing I'm going through? I can only hate someone that I think is doing better than me or is different from me because I don't understand them. And understanding comes from knowledge, which knowledge comes from education. So yeah, it's a ground level basis that we still need to handle. And the thing is the social, not just social media, but even the news outlets and the radios, a lot of it is designed to keep us hating each other because it's more lack of knowledge. You know, we're listening to people that don't know anything, just say how they feel, and their feelings is causing hatred to happen amongst us all, who should be all on the same team to make each other lives better. You know, like I could be friends with a multimillionaire or multi-billionaire. Like, what is that? That's the only way that I can learn. I can learn from how they did it versus saying, oh, I don't like you because you're better than me because the radio told me that you don't care about me. Like, it's just, I think it starts there.
Yeah, I definitely think it starts with education, and the more we know, the more we grow, as they used to say, you know. So
that's sure.
So yeah, it all starts with education.
Absolutely. And then the only way to actually pass the hatred is to start loving people around you. And the only way to do that is to see that they're the same as you and they're going through the same struggle. And only together you can make a really big difference and make life easier, better for all of us. So I believe we have one more video that's going to show some more facts from the conference. Let's check it out.
I would really like to see, hopefully there will be like a change or maybe a restart on this world, and, you know, United States included, to revamp and revise a whole new, beautiful beginning.
Unity is a strength. Together we will go far. I mean, those are slogans, but we need some initiative by conglomerating with the different groups where we can come on one platform and everybody can do their part. Somebody is specialized in something, somebody is specialized in something. So if those all hands come together, I think that's the only way. It will take time, but somebody has to take that step.
Is that it? Oh, that was a short clip. Well, this one was apparently about the way out. Like what do we do? Do we want to reset? Do we want to keep on going with this model, or do we want to change anything? Because, like, technically, nobody is talking about creating a system that's going to be inflation-free, for example. Like, but is it technically possible? Like, is it an option? Do we want to have it on the table? Do we want to fight over production of goods by actually planning the amount of stuff we want to produce so it wouldn't hurt ecology that bad as it does right now? That's the things that were offered here. Like, why don't we have that on the table? Like, I don't know. We have to figure out how it's going to work with the market economy, with the freedom of doing business, with the freedom of work. But maybe if many people are going to be replaced by machinery very soon, people are not going to have to flip burgers to make like $15 per hour. Machines can do that. Machine can do coffee in Starbucks better than people do, and people don't have to do this hard labor. But then in that case, if we free people from work, should they be provided some basic level of income so they can survive and spend more time on education and not wasting it on hard labor that can be done by machinery? Like, this kind of questions we asked people, and people said we should probably do something. What do you think about this? What should be the questions that people should ask themselves, and what kind of demand should we create?
I think a lot of people need to do a lot of self auditing, you know, and I say that because, you know, when you get taxed and you do something wrong, you get audited. Thank God I've never been through that. Knock on wood, wherever that is. But I think a lot of people need to actually do self auditing. They need to look inside themselves and see what they've been doing for the last 10 years and where they think they're going to be doing in the next 10 years. Because, yeah, true enough, having machines and robots sound beautiful. But the thing that's being lost in that is when that happens, that means there's less desirable people. When people are not desired, their value goes down way less than what it is now. So if anything, that's going to actually hurt more humans than help. And the thing is it could be used to help, but that's if we are trying to learn and educate ourselves now before this happens. Because why can't a human own the robots that do that? Versus losing out on jobs, like the Wendy's worker. Like I was telling my son the other day, like, cause he's getting a little high and mighty, because, you know, we were once homeless. By the grace of God, you know, we've did a little bit better in life, but sometimes you have to check your children. And I had to tell them, like, you don't treat them like they don't matter, because they matter just as much as we do. And the thing is if the Wendy's worker lose their job, you know, it's kind of like, you know, the whole idea of if you smash the ant and it causes a conundrum, which causes a bigger thing in the world. Like everyone needs something. And the thing is without the little worker, which a lot of people are missing out on, there is no big worker. Like it's harder to be over someone that doesn't exist. It all helps each other. So I feel like back to what that gentleman was saying, he really touched on something I was taught as a younger man. When I used to do real estate. Before I got into that, I was taught out of the conversation comes the light. And that sparks to my mind, because you don't know sometimes. And if there's no conversation, you can't, it's still dark. So how do you know what, and then, I mean, yeah, we could say, yeah, the rich know, big tech company know, but big tech is so big tech that the last thing they're worried about is the little person. They don't see that, because everyone has their own issues. When you make when your tax bracket goes up, there's bigger issues. You know, like when you go from being homeless, I had no issues besides the fact of trying to find somewhere to live. Aside from that, I didn't care about money. I didn't care about, I cared about my child. That was it. Aside from that, I could care less. There was no struggle. But then when I got up and had to start paying rent, yeah, I had issues. Then as you get to another level, you got to worry about how you're going to play it. And this sounds weird. You got to worry about how you got to pay your private jet off, you know, and that's a purpose for that. So everyone has their own issues. But the thing is like we said previously, you know, without conversation, how can we figure out there's an issue that's going on here? Like, you know, you could sit there and say, yeah, Elon Musk, you know, richest man in the world. He knows that, you know, my uncle who lives in Compton, California right now that can barely afford his 2-bedroom is struggling. No, it's too many people in this world for him to even know or care. Like, why should he care? You know, my uncle also made some bad decisions in life. He was addicted to, you know, heroin and all that crap. But at the same time, we can't blame Elon for that. We just have to have a level where we can find a way where we can really figure out what democracy is, where we can literally come together as society. And if Creative Society is that platform, there's a platform where we can come together and talk and discuss issues and not feel judged or feel like we're going to be judged, because there's sometimes where we think we're going to be judged by someone versus us actually being judged. And that's the problem, the predetermined notions that we get from social media and outlets, and then this left and right and Republican or Democrat. Sometimes there's devices set up to keep us divided. If we can find a way to just cut off these devices and come together as a society, as what we were defined in the beginning when we first came to this country, we united against, you know, British rule, you know, but then when we got here, now we want to unite against each other. And it's like, yeah, I know the human mindset is always conquer, war. That's how humans are bred, and men more specifically. I get that. But if we can literally drop the ego, that's the problem. I think the solving is dropping the ego. As soon as we can find a way to do that in a way where we don't feel like we just became weak, I feel like that's when we can actually start having change. Sorry.
Wow. That's so powerful. And that's exactly how I've been feeling. I feel like most of the people feel in the same way. It just takes some courage to actually say this out loud. So thank you for honesty and for being open-minded about things.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like a lot of, like he's saying, a lot of awareness and education needs to happen before that next step of the implementation of advanced technology. As again, so that we know that we are using these gifts in the correct way as a society. I myself, I'm pro tech. I would like to see more technology implemented because it will make our lives easier. And I do think that there would come a point where human beings will advance to the step of self-realization, self-actualization once these technologies are implemented, which will definitely be a great evolutionary step for us as mankind. But like Jared is saying, like, we definitely need some education and awareness so that we can conquer our egos, conquer
the drive in us that wants to be at war, be at indifference between our fellow mankind, so that we can use these gifts and these technologies in the way that they were intended to be.
Yeah. I hope so, that these technologies will be right there. And yeah, exactly as Jarrell said, so many technologies, even if you think about it, already exist, but we do not introduce them. Like, for example, all the warehouses could be automated a while ago. And even when companies started doing that, countries, governments started pushing against it because they don't know what to do with multiple people that's going to end up with no job in the street. And what is the solution? Because in the consumerist format where we live in right now, if we introduce basic income on the level of like minimum salary, then it's not even makes sense, because some people do nothing because they have no option to get a job and get the same money as some other people make with a hard labor. So this is not an option in the consumerist format. But then what we were talking about in creative society, that the wealth generated by the machinery has to be distributed kind of in an equal way to meet the basic needs of all people. And then when you know your basic needs are covered, just like stakeholders in big tech companies, right? You have your shares, and the world economy everyone should have a piece of share that makes sure you're not gonna stay without home, you're not gonna stay without food, you're not gonna stay without electricity or water or education or healthcare, right? When those are covered, then you can advance as much as you want. You can study, you can contribute to the society, you can go and do tremendous things, because, like, you know, no one ever stopped working or contributing only because they met their basic needs, because that's another myth I've been seeing. Oh, when people gonna have this basic income, they're gonna stop working because people are lazy. Yeah, some of them are, and some of them choose not to do so. But it's better to provide this basic income and make sure they're not gonna go in the streets and just, like, you know, robbing people, breaking windows, and, like, you know, for a piece of wood, piece of food, sometimes even killing somebody. So that doesn't make sense. It's easier and cheaper for the society to cover basic needs of all people and give them option to do better. And people want to do better because, again, we want to kill ego, but we want to leave this part which pushes each one of us to do better. Like, this part of ego that's actually contributing in a good way, you know, the take the bad animal part of it, left it out, but the competition part, when it comes to, oh, I can make something better for the society, like, you know, I can push it to the next level. Yeah, I can make the food more affordable, I can make electricity cheaper, I can come up with the new ways of transportation so people can travel faster. Right, kind of like what was said, what great thinkers have been telling us about. And I wanted to ask you guys, is there any specific technology, or maybe a few of them, that you are specifically passionate about, or what's your favorite field of expertise? Or I know you're investors, both of you, so maybe there's a specific thing that you're very passionate about and that you're looking forward to. You're like, when this technology comes out, I strongly believe it's going to change the world, I would invest, or maybe I already invested into it. And then what kind of technology do you think could contribute to the, like, you know, development?
I hate to sound super cliche, but my number one, I think, investment is mine. I know that's not a technology, but I think mine is very important, because once you have your mind right, everything else you can invest in anything you like. But if you understand it, then you can understand why you invest in it. I actually love Teslas, but I don't know if I love Tesla or if I love Elon Musk, and that's been my biggest fight. Even with my son, we fight. He's like, yeah, I want the Cybertruck. And I'm like, yeah, I think that'll be cool. But at the end of the day, I think I'm more invested in his mind, Elon Musk's mind, the fact that he had the mindset to make a new technology, or actually, sorry, because this technology already existed, but he had the mindset to enhance it and bring it back to play and make it work this time versus how it didn't work back in the day where it didn't work. So me personally, I love tech. I love the idea of tech. Tech is great. It'll be good for the country. It'll be good for the world. But I can't get past the mind. I think, because even me, I feel like my number one investment is my mind. The fact that I got out of poverty in the area I was living in to learn something new. And I don't know, we made technology. It was a gift given from God, but we made technology, So without us, it would be no tech. So that's why I feel like the number one investment is still the person or the human that has the brain to do it.
Yeah, I would like to see some investments in free energy and that Voskhod, man. That's been on my mind ever since I learned about it. The Voskhod complex. Hopefully when that comes out, I definitely would like to see more people and companies and governments invested in that technology, because I definitely know it will change the scope of the world.
Okay, so yeah, that's the technology that allows people to have full transparency into money that are governmental money and actually track it down, which would be awesome, because if we can get rid of corruption and all these shady schemes behind governmental money, I think that would by itself increase the wealth and life of all of us. So guys, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for tuning in and checking the forum. We have upcoming forum in November. But prior to that, please make sure to check out the conference, the Creative Society USA Global Crisis, because we are in global crisis. We covered topics like American economy. We covered the very harsh topic of mass shootings, why it is happening, and why both parties that we have, they only divide people and they not offering the solution, whatever we have there. And we came up with the solution, the value of human life. If we actually prioritize the value of human life, we can easily get rid of so many problems, including this one. So for the exact solution, check out the videos we have online on Creative Society YouTube channel, on our Facebook, check our TikToks, and subscribe to our newsletters on creativesociety.com and press join us button, and see you soon. Any final wishes from Jarrell, from you?
The thing I tell everyone, I have clients that I coach, and the same thing I say to everything is, stay strong, don't give up. We've gotten through this before, and we'll get through it again. It's just this time, hopefully we go in there willing to learn and do things different this time than we did last time.
Thank you so much. All right, and see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.